Hi there, it's Pat Williams from TKO. Today I'm going to show you the latest changes to TKO in the new cloud-based version. And mainly this one relates to groups and roles. In the older version we had groups, and you manage groups here. And groups, the idea of groups were to allow you to be able to create a segment of content or documents that only certain people could see. So you'd create a group, for instance accounts, and then you might assign members to that group so that when they logged in, they were the only ones who could see that. So if you weren't a member of that group, therefore you wouldn't see documents relating to that group. Now, we've had feedback over the years about this. There needed to be a better way of doing it. So we're still keeping the groups, but what we're doing, we're incorporating it into the roles section. So now we're going to have roles and job descriptions, which we've always had, but they're actually effectively going to be groups. So in your previous system, if you, for instance, had a group called, accounts, you'll now have a role and job description called accounts group, and you'll have people assigned to that role and job description who are in the old system. So nothing's changed. You'll still have your groups, but they'll be much easier to manage, and I'll explain that to you now. So I just wanted to show you this is what your current system might have with groups. Now some people might be using groups, so don't worry too much about this if you're not using it, but just keep in mind that whatever you had in the old system is still in the new system, but they'll be under the roles area. So I'll go to that now. Okay, so we've updated this site. So we had the old group system in the previous version of this, and we're just doing a demo site called TKO Real4.policyguides. It's our sample real estate company. As you can see, we've got all the documents for this company in here, all the usual stuff. But now if we go to the tabs, roles tab section, you'll now see that we have these roles, and for instance here's one here, the office maintenance and cleaning group. Now that was a group previously in the previous version, so now it's sitting in the roles tab, and as you can see it's also has this table here of assigned documents. So that's showing you all the documents assigned to that role, and it's also showing me the user that is assigned to that role. And so it's a much easier way of visualizing who's in a group, what the group does, and their roles and responsibilities. So these are all linked. So if we click on food and drink, so it takes us to that document. If we go back to that role. So we've got office maintenance and cleaning group. You can rename this to whatever you like. So effectively it's a group that's now become a role within the business, and we've got documents assigned to that, and we've got people assigned to that. And by the way, you can do multiple assignments, so if you wanted to assign somebody else to that role, you can easily do that as well. Now one of the other great features of this is that you can now build off a manual directly off this. So for instance here we could just click on job role manual, and this would create a manual based on the role and job description and also the documents assigned to it. So as you can see, I've brought up this pick list kind of dialogue where we can select what we want to put in the manual, but as you can see it's already ticked off the items that have been assigned to this job role, so there's nothing really to do other than go create manual. It even puts a name in here for the manual, and you just go create manual and just build the manual. So this is one of the reasons we went down this path, because roles were a good way of containing groups and all the documents involved in a particular role. So if we now look at that job manual, there we are there. It's produced that job manual, and as you can see it's put in everything that it needs, such as the job description plus all the documents assigned to that, and then if you can see the actual manual here. So it's a great way of building manuals. So that's one of the aspects of it. You can also search within these tables because, for instance, some roles will have maybe hundreds of documents assigned to them and you need to find things very quickly. And one of the search facilities in here is as soon as you start typing, you'll see that it's finding the document for you quite easily. So that's another big plus with it too. Also, that within this table you can change the sort of it, so you can drag items to different locations and save the order. You can also remove the list. You can take it off completely if you want. You can modify, so you can add items to the list by creating new documents. So you might want to put in a various range of new documents, and this will create the stubs for it. Or you can add from the existing list, so you can use assign from an existing list. So you just bring this up, and this brings up our standard dialog where you can then select off other documents that you may want to add into the list. So that makes it very easy that way as well. And also you can do you can make selections where you can just select everything in the list and then take action on that, such as you may want to restrict or unrestrict certain documents. And this is something we'll get into in a minute about restrictions. And then you just go cancel. So it's much easier to assign documents and responsibilities to particular roles and job descriptions. So for instance, here we have the receptionist role, and at the moment there is nothing assigned to that role. So all you do is click on Assign Policy Procedures from here, from this link, or you can do it from here as well. So the Actions menu is quite a handy one. As you can see from the Actions menu, you can control what you want to do via that area here. So if we went Assign Procedures to Role, again, we could create some new ones from scratch, or we could see what's there existing within our policy and procedures. So if I do that, it'll bring up our dialog so that we can find some documents that we may want to align to the receptionist area. So you might, for instance, want to assign all these. So you might just select all those and then go return selected. And as you can see now, it's now assigned those particular policy procedures to the role of reception. And now you may want to assign that to a particular person. So we click on here and we find the person that we want to assign to, and let's see if we've got somebody there we can assign it to. And let's say we're going to add somebody new in, so we just go add new, and I'll call this person Bill. Call it Bill Reception, just for the sake of a name. We'll give them subscriber capabilities, which means that they can only view content, they can't edit. But if you wanted them to edit content, you would select editor. So I'll just make them subscriber. So we've now added Bill Reception in there, and Bill has been assigned to the role of receptionist. As I said before, you can also assign multiple people to roles. So you might, let's say we wanted to put Jerry in there as well. So Jerry and Bill are now the receptionist. And again, you can build the manual. Now, also a new big feature of this new version is that you can also assign forms to this as well. So for instance, if we click here and we wanted to assign an existing form, we just bring up our usual dialog. But as you go down, you'll see that there's a category called internal online forms, and you can select here, and you might say, right, look, I want this form, and this form assigned to this particular role. So you just select that as well, and that will assign it as you can see down the bottom there, these are forms, and if you clicked on that, that would actually take you to the form. So it's taken me to the incident report form. So forms can now be assigned as well. So that gives the roles and responsibilities a bigger scope. So virtually every document in the system, which, sorry, not document, but let's call it content in the system, is considered available within groups. So you've got forms, files, policy procedures, all are possible to be assigned to a particular role and job description. And by the way, as you see in this table, because the table is greater than 10 items, so it's limited to 10, so you can just got tab 2 will take you to the next just by doing that. And again, remember the search facility, that's very fast. Let's say we're looking for a document that had the word food in it. As I type that, as you can see, it's finding it instantly. Okay, the next thing that I want to talk about is we've got a new kind of status called restricted or unrestricted. So by default, most documents are unrestricted, meaning that all staff can access them. But there are some times where you only want admins and editors or people within a group to be able to access them. Now, for instance, see this particular document here, food, drink and cleaning. See it's got the padlock there. That means that this is a restricted document, which means that only administrators, editors of the site and users, or sorry, not users, but roles, where this document has been assigned to, and the members and those role assignees would be able to see this document. Now you can change that because you can still have something assigned to a role but not necessarily restricted. So for instance, if you wanted food, drink and cleanup to be something that is available to everybody, so you just select it and then come across here to actions and then click on restrict access. And then you would say unrestricted. So if I go save now, you can see that this is now unrestricted. The padlock has come off. So meaning this is available to everybody. So the restricted status is a new one to allow you to tightly control what is visible. Now you can also do bulk versions of that. So for instance, we go back to the actions menu, go restrict access, and this time we go apply to multiple documents, and we want to restrict multiple documents or unrestrict multiple documents. You just click on select applicable documents. This brings up our familiar dialog, and then you would check off all the documents that you want this applied to. So for instance, if we wanted to make them unrestricted, we would say, right, let's unrestrict all these checked items and then go return. I won't do that at the moment, but that's how simple it is. So this is another big feature with this latest version. When you're assigning things to various roles, you can pick them off quite easily with that dialog. So that's another feature. Okay, another new feature is in the forms area. Now forms are very powerful, as a lot of people are finding that you can do amazing things with forms, and particularly if you're using it off a mobile device, they're very good for, for getting your staff to fill in various forms that you want them to fill in on a regular basis. Now the new feature we've got here too, we've got the ability to print forms. So you'll see at the top here you've got print form. Now this wasn't available before, so this will actually do a nice printout of your form if you ever need to visualize your form. So there's a printout there, so you can actually do forms. And also if you embed a form into a document, it also gets printed. So that's something else you can do. Forms are not only in here, but you can actually embed them into your policy procedures if you wish. Now the next new feature is in the org chart area. Now when you go to the users tab, you'll see org chart view here. If you click that on, you'll get an org chart view of all your users in the system. Now this has a menu which you can click on here to change themes and things like that. So things like that. Excuse the language. You can change themes here by just selecting various ones. For instance, if I go the dark brown look, I prefer that, but you can choose whatever you like. And what you do from here, you can also expand this to make it bigger. So just expand it out. And for instance, you might start here and start creating a structure. So we've got the CEO here, Henry. So the first thing you might do is start dragging all the managers under them. So you might go, right, drag there. We then might drag the sales manager under the CEO. And as you can see, it's building this hierarchy there. Marketing manager will drag under there. So you just basically go through and create this kind of layout, and we'll just go through each one. And then you can keep going with that and, drag people under other roles, like let's put the marketing assistant. Oh no, we probably should have put that under marketing manager. So you just drag them around to create your structure, and it's as simple as that. And once you get the hang of it, it becomes very easy. So we've now got that. I'll just drag the accounts receivable under bookkeeper, and rental assistant will go under property manager. Arrears clerk will also go under property manager. So it's building a nice kind of hierarchy there. Cleaner goes under HR, and I'll put that one under HR as well. So there we've got a bit of a structure there, as you can see. And also notice that on the tree here, that's also aligned this tree with that kind of hierarchy as well. Now the other new feature too is you can have departments. So for instance, I can add a department in here, and let's call it, say, the property management department or team. You might, depends on what you want to, either team or department, and you select a color for each of these areas. So this creates just a new tab there, and I might expand that just to show you how that works. And what you might do is you then grab the property management people into there. Now this is asking me, now that I've dragged it, said, do you want these people to come in as subordinates under that new area or as members? So I'll just say as member. So as you can see, it's now created this new section there, and then you just drag that under the CEO as well. So you can build this kind of structure like that, so you can create departments, and you might want to do another department such as sales department, and choose another color. We might go green this time. And this time we might drag the sales department people into that. And again, we want that under the CEO, so we just drag that under the CEO. Okay, so there you go. Also, while you're here, you can also do a few things with this. You can export this image to a PNG image file if you wish, just by clicking that. And that'll bring up an image in a sec that you can use. And so just have a look at that if you like. And there's the image there that it's just created. Also with these nodes in the tree, in the org chart I mean, I'll expand that so we can see it a bit easier. You'll see these little 3 dots here. So if you just click on that, you can do extra things. So you can add new users from here as well, delete them or assign roles to them. So for instance, we've got Human Resources Manager. This is Kerry. If you wanted to assign another role to them, you could just do that here as well. So you've got these little menus that you'll see here where you can do things to them. And the menu's changed if it's department, so you can edit the department name, remove a department, etc. By the way, you can remove a department without affecting the people within the department. So for instance, if I wanted to remove the property management department, it's not going to delete out the users within that department. So you don't have to worry about that. Okay, so that's an overview of these new features. As I said, the main change here is the groups. The groups are now in the roles section. Forms have had an upgrade, and the basic alignment of roles to users has had a massive upgrade as well. Plus a lot of little things behind the scenes, a lot of probably hundreds, maybe thousands of little changes in the background for speed, performance, etc. that you'll find is in the system. So I hope you enjoy using the new system. Let me know any feedback you have, and look forward to seeing your thoughts. Thank you.